Right. So basically my vision here is for the end user experience should be very similar to any normal search engine. I think that works quite well. You type in some keywords and you get some answers back. Those answers can include links, which is the core of search, but also things like, Google has did you mean or definitions, or if you type 3 + 4 = they say 7. All those kinds of things are expected these days in a modern search engine. The way it differs is that the ranking of the websites, we want to put that into the hands of the community in a lot of different ways. If you think about a traditional search engine like Google, there's this idea that it's all about the algorithm. It's just an algorithm. But that doesn't really make any sense. In fact, there's whole departments of people at Google whose job is quality control. They make editorial judgments all the time. There's nothing wrong with making an editorial judgment. But my view is whenever we see that we're making an editorial judgment, these search results aren't that good, we need to change the algorithm here, we're going to push that decision making out into the community. And there's a lot of different ways that we do think that through things like tagging, things like the Wikipedia category structure, we are beginning to see more and more machine-readable information. That helps a lot with the problem of search. But it's still pretty incomplete, right? And there's still a lot of things that need to be done. For an image search, for example, using something like Flickr where things are tagged, it's actually pretty good. Doing a broad image search across the whole internet is still quite hard because most images aren't tagged in any meaningful way. So I'm not so sure how semantic search is going to be anytime soon.
Okay, you spoke about the idea of an encyclopedia and the idea of a library. And was the vision of the idea of a library there from the inception, or did it just come out once you saw the success of Wikipedia?
So there's actually a couple things. I used to believe that the only reason Wikipedia could work at all was the neutrality policy. The idea that if I say encyclopedia article about Eiffel Tower, everybody knows what that's supposed to look like. We might argue about the details, of course, but we kind of know, okay, there should be a picture, maybe 2 pictures, one in the day and one at night, where it is and who built it and just the history of it. Everybody understands it immediately, and we know we're not supposed to have opinions, right? And so we're going to try to be neutral. If there's some controversy, we'll say, well, these are the 2 sides of the argument and whatever. And I thought that was the only way it could work. But then I saw some smaller wikis beginning to grow. Things like Uncyclopedia is actually one of the classic ones, where it's a parody of Wikipedia, and you think, how can a whole group of people get together and make anything funny, right? It just sounds like it wouldn't be very funny, but I saw it was working. And what happens there is that there's a shared vision, a shared internal culture of what an encyclopedia article should look like. And it's not neutral, but it is consistent, internally consistent. So that led me to think that, wow, actually we can do lots of things beyond just nonprofit educational kind of work. We can actually create all kinds of different works, and so that's what people are doing. Well, I think we're still a long way from the end of this idea of using, there's kind of 2 competing ideas for what Web 2.0 is. Part of it is like using modern Ajax, so JavaScript technologies, to make applications that are a lot smoother and easier to use. But a big part of it is the broader idea of community participation. And what I'm seeing right now is something like YouTube, for example. I love YouTube, it's great, but it really is not a collaborative platform. It's very much like GeoCities free homepages or something, right? In other words, you post your videos, people comment on them. Nobody's like collaborating to build something bigger. So in video, I see us as being in the same place we were in text. Cities are being formed. So my expectation is that we'll see a lot of interesting things going on in video in the next 5 years.
The last question is as the versions of web will improve, like Web 3.0, Web 4.0, Web 5.0.
Has the what improved?
Right now, Web 2.0 is currently very active, and this is the stages of emergence of Web 3.0. So how will Wikipedia improve compared to?
Oh yeah, sometimes I joke that Wikipedia is actually Web 1.7 alpha. So because the interface for Wikipedia, everything for Wikipedia, it's really like it's state of the art 2003, 2004, right? It's not the smoothest website out there. On the other hand, it does what it does very well, and so we don't see any real reason to change that. Probably the biggest innovation that will happen in the Wikipedia editing experience will be when we move to WYSIWYG editing. What you see is what you get editing. So instead of when you click on edit seeing all these wiki markup codes, you really should see something that's very comfortable and familiar. That we hope would bring in more participation from different kinds of people who aren't quite as tech geek. But there's huge challenges in implementing WYSIWYG editing, and well, there's unfortunately no planned date for when that's going to happen. But to me, it's obvious. 20 years from now, we're not going to be editing wiki text the way we do today. It'll be a much. We've got the Apaches in the middle who actually compute the pages. We've got squid caches out front. The cache hit rate's about 75%, so that helps a lot. We do certain pre-rendering of pages and the pre-rendered part, so everything you need to make the page except the last bits of customization when you're logged in are pre-rendered and stored in memory using memcached. There's a lot of stuff like that we've already done. I mean, the active developer community around making Wikipedia come to people fast is really good. It's very optimized, which is why we only need a few hundred servers instead of thousands of servers. And then we have a data center in Florida, one in Amsterdam, and one in South Korea. We at some point will probably have more data centers, but we don't no immediate plans anyway. I don't even know what that is, so I guess we're not planning. No. Language tools are really, really hard, and mostly are completely useless right now, in my opinion. So, yeah.
Any plans to set up a center here in India?
No. Yeah. I mean, the Wikimedia Foundation has 10 employees worldwide. So when we moved from Florida to San Francisco, the local newspaper was heartbroken, and they thought that we were going to lose a lot of jobs. And we said, well, maybe 3 or 4. It's not that big of a deal.
So, that was the last question then?
Yes.
What is Web 5.0?
I don't even know what Web 2.1 is. So I always say I'm a carpenter, not an architect. So this is what I always think about semantic web. Semantic web, there are a lot of grand visionary ideas that I don't even understand. I always say, give me where's the hammer and the nails, and I'll start building something. But I leave the grand theorizing to someone else. Okay, thanks, guys.
Thank you.